Hi, my name is Amy, and I'm here to document my experience about floating. Last Saturday, I floated for the first time, and today is Friday, so I needed some time to actually process what had happened. Not that it was bad, of course, but it was such a surreal experience for me that I really need time to process the whole thing to fully understand what it was that I felt, what I went through, and how can I explain this to other people. So the most difficult part is kind of just, understanding that floating is an individual experience for everyone. So my experience with floating is going to be way different than yours. But what I can do is I can tell you what I did, and maybe we can find some common ground, and I'd love to hear about your experiences as well. So the first thing I want to explain is what the heck is actually floating in the first place? Well, floating, what it is exactly what it says it is. You sit in a big tank with tons of salt water, essentially, and the salt causes your body to float on top of the water. And what ends up happening is that your body is submerged in the water with your head above the water. So your nose never goes under and your eyes never go under. So, what is it like? That was some questions that I was curious about the first time when I heard about floating. And when I found out that I was going to be floating for the first time, I had no idea what to expect. And most of the time when we do things in life, they're never what we expect them to be anyway. So, I just kind of keep an open mind to everything. So, the place was really, really clean. You go in, you have your own little private room, and you kind of, you float naked. Now, it's a little weird at first because you're like naked, but I mean, if you prefer, you could probably wear a bathing suit, but I really feel as if that would take away from the experience because you would feel the clothing rubbing up against your body, and that might be a distraction, from your mind while you're in the tank. So then you kind of shower off, you take off all the oils and stuff that are on your skin, kind of get it all cleansed up before you actually go into the tank. So when you go into the tank, you hear this music and it's kind of peaceful, relaxing, and it's fading away in the background. When I got in the tank the first time, it just kind of, I floated upward. It's very, very hard to hit the bottom, and I floated right away. I've always floated, always loved water, so this was definitely up in my ballpark. Now, what happened when I floated, I turned the lights off, and I couldn't see, I couldn't hear, and I was just really just focused all in my mind. And I thought that it was like such a really cool experience. At first, I was like, wow, like what's going on? As I was, more relaxing, I could feel my breathing. One thing I wish I did do is I really wish that I would have ate because I felt my stomach hungry as I was doing this. So it took a little bit away from the experience, but I know for next time. So when I'm in there, I'm just letting the thoughts pass my mind, different stuff about work and school, and I just let them go. And I sat within myself, and it was really cool because I didn't know if my eyes were open or closed. The only time I knew if they were open was when I felt the blink of my eyes. So the things I thought about in there were, very healing for me. And at one point, what was going on is I felt myself relaxing to the point where I couldn't feel myself in the water. I wasn't sure if I was in the water or if I was going deeper into my subconscious. So what happened was I saw flashes of white light. Now I know it was completely dark in there, but I know that I saw white light, and it was really cool. Some people see different colors or visuals, and it was really cool to see that on my first try in there. And what would happen was I would come back to the tank, my mind and my body, and I would just kind of swim around in the tank, and I'd let my hair all go in the tank, and it was like super cool. It was just like nice to feel the water on my body, but what was really cool was the after effects of it. So not only was it cool to be in the tank for about an hour, hour and a half, but the effects after the tank were very calming, smoothing, and what I really could say is the most important thing to me was the mental clarity. I just felt so lifted and so relieved. I had a glow. That's what they call it. I've seen a lot of people come out of the tank and they definitely seem like a much happier people. Like life is good. And what I really liked about it was that as when I got out of the tank and I did things like eat, smell, everything seemed to be so enhanced. I was hungry when I got out. Don't get me wrong, but the food I ate afterward was the best sandwich I ever had in my life. I will tell you that. So, and the thing is that the effects of the floating, I would say, lasted about 3 to 4 days. Especially with the mental clarity. I know that this floating has changed my life. I definitely felt incredibly relaxed, like a new person. And I really can't wait to go back and have my second experience, and then I can share that all with you because I feel this is going to be a progression with my spirituality, my meditation, and me growing my mind, body, and my spirit. So that's pretty much all I have to say about floating for my first time, and I'll be posting about my second time as well. Thank you guys so much.